Hello and welcome to our Visibility and Anomaly Detection webinar. I'm Ian Bailey, part of the product management team here at Solutions PT. And with me today, admittedly remotely, so I apologise for any delays, is Catherine Brocklehurst, a Senior Director of Industrial Cybersecurity at Claroty.
Hi, everyone.
So today we're going to introduce Claroty and their exceptional product set, but first we'll set the scene by looking at the industry trends that make visibility and anomaly detection in OT networks so important. This dramatic graphic helps us to highlight several trends. Industrial control system networks themselves are changing with greater demand for connectivity to the IT network and cloud repositories, alongside the potential adoption of a large number of smart devices. Naturally, companies wish to pursue the adoption of connectivity and smart devices for the business benefits they can bring. Indeed, we are looking at addressing this sort of connectivity with our customers now, and the challenge is to provide the business benefit in a secure manner. However, in operational technology networks, many are not building from a position of strength due to limited legacy security and a simple lack of visibility into the state of the OT network. Due to the cost and reputational impact of a successful attack on an OT network, the risk is getting attention from senior people in many organizations. So you can see this from the slide. If we consider the rising number of attacks, their increasing sophistication, and the actual impact on many firms, then the need for better OT cybersecurity is clear.
Yes, thanks, Ian. This is a terrific illustration of the rate of growth on attacks that are targeting industrial environments. It could be the industrial control systems. It could be specific things such as safety systems, even most recently. But this is why Claroty was founded, and as you can see at the very end, the last year was quite the hockey stick. The rates have gone sky high, and that's specifically why Claroty was founded. Our product is expressly built for OT as an organization.
Great, thank you, Catherine. And so now we've established why this area is so important, I'll take a moment to introduce Solutions PT for those of you who don't know us. We've worked in the operational technology market in the UK and Ireland for over 30 years, and we're best known for the Wonderware industrial software suite. We have a number of other exceptional partners, and I'm very pleased to say that Claroty are now one of them. We reviewed a number of providers in this area, and very simply, we assessed that Claroty's offering was the best. Catherine will now introduce Claroty, and once you've heard that, you will understand why we're so excited to be the Claroty preferred partner for the UK and Ireland.
Yes, thank you, Ian. This slide is trying to convey a number of facets, and particularly you might note that we started in 2014, so a little bit before this hockey stick of rate of attacks and targeted and such have occurred. We exited stealth mode in September of 2016, and we had at that time, based on our early work, multiple customers in production. So we had a fast start, and with help from an array of investors you can see there on the bottom left, which includes some of the bigger names you'd recognize, Rockwell, Schneider, Siemens, and others, we have built a leading company in industrial cybersecurity today. We are the strongest funded, have well over 100 people, and are global. And more than half of our team are in R&D because, as you most of you may know, this is an ongoing and continuing landscape. We consider ourselves sort of the big dog in a way in the ICS cybersecurity space today, focused strictly on OT in that space today. So now, we're not ones to rest on our laurels, but we think the most significant award, there are a number of nice ones up here, but the most significant one is in the upper left. Last year in January at the S4 conference, which is sort of like, if those of you may know Black Hat, the term Black Hat, there's a sort of a hackers conference that occurs annually. This one is sort of like Black Hat for operations technology, the OT space. And we won in a head-to-head competition against a variety of competitors, and we used actual data from an oil and gas pipeline company. We call it a PCAP. It's a packet capture. And we were able to test the two facets of the event were correctly and quickly identifying assets, which helps a good deal in your asset discovery and knowing what you have in your network and the operations side, a big challenge in many. And then we also have the second side, which was threat and anomaly detection. And we won both sections, and of course, we were the overall winner.
Well, thanks for that, Catherine. So we now look at the problem in the OT area today. Many of the organizations we talk to discuss their concerns with their very limited visibility into their ICS networks. As you can well imagine, a lack of visibility, especially the deep visibility that Claroty provides, will severely hamper any attempts to secure industrial networks. You can't protect what you can't see, so discovery and ongoing visibility of endpoints, their status and their connections is vital. And this is the visibility that Claroty gives you. Here we have a reference architecture which shows a sample industrial network and where the Claroty platform products fit into the picture. Let's give a brief overview and then we'll take a look at each product. The flagship Claroty product, Continuous Threat Detection, provides visibility and real-time threat and vulnerability monitoring. This product sits on the span port of the switch, so it sits looking at an output of the network, safely and passively monitoring the network. There's no actual footprint on the ICS network, so you won't have plant downtime or to install or update agents. We have worked with this product for some time now here at Solutions PT, and you can't help but be impressed by the visibility and insight it provides. Solutions PT will install, train, and support continuous threat detection, and with that support comes frequent updates that keep on making the product more powerful.
Yes, and as Ian described on the continuous threat detection, which the acronym we use often is CTD, you'll hear that. And and of course that's passive as Ian described, but a nice additional component is, as you might see there on the screen, the security posture assessment capability, which is part of our platform, uses CTD and is an offline product. And it can take in a PCAP or a stream of traffic that has been mirrored off the port and the span port, and we can provide a comprehensive report on your ICS environment. It gives insights to the assets discovered, who's talking to whom. We do a ranking on security posture and also can highlight things that need immediate attention, such as threats or vulnerabilities, and of course network configuration issues do come to the surface as well.
Thanks, Catherine. So looking at the top left of the architecture, you see secure remote access. This provides policy-based, controlled, and monitored access to an ICS network and removes an important attack vector. It's typically used by employees and contractors to safely access and manage the assets in the ICS network from outside the plant or operations. Again, this is a really impressive product. The functionality is spot on, and the user experience is intuitive, simple, as with all the Claroty products.
Yes, and lastly, since we're just giving sort of an overview of the platform and the piece parts that are integrated and work together to support you, let's talk about the Enterprise Management Console. It provides an enterprise-wide view, and so you can roll up multiple sites or different plant locations into a single, if you prefer, a single operations view, and you can get this consolidated look at your assets and what's going on, and you can integrate this data as well with existing SOC tools. This is a big strength. So the various applications you'll use to make your workflow efficient related to security can be integrated with those existing SOC tools.
Thank you very much, Catherine. So as promised, we'll look into a little bit more detail on each of the products now. So Claroty Continuous Threat Detection, as we mentioned previously, also known as CTD, provides extreme visibility into an industrial network. This includes visibility across all layers of an ICS network and deep visibility into the ICS assets, such as a PLC on the left, where the display is showing the card slot architecture.
That's right, Ian. And, just for many times when I'm talking to or presenting to groups, they want to know, is this software or hardware or both or what? And I would just say that the CTD product can provide this extreme visibility, whether it's something that you take in and it's software primarily. That's software that we provide, but you might have a partner like Solutions PT bring it in appliance style if that's how you like it. Another idea is you can also deploy with a virtual machine. In some instances, that's the preferred method. So just knowing that, then it makes the ease of it come forth. Now, the extreme visibility also means that we are able to know and understand all the conversations going on across the ICS network. And on the right, you can see that which assets actually are communicating with each other. And more importantly, we also understand what these conversations are about. We can provide some very strong context because of our OT background and our OT specifics. So for example, we understand the difference between an HMI requesting data from a PLC, say a read request, or an engineering workstation downloading a new configuration file to a PLC, or something that might send a write command or try to change a set point in the PLC memory, and the various risks involved in each. So for us, and what we offer to our customers, which they find extremely compelling, is extreme visibility.
Great, thanks, Catherine. So in addition to extreme visibility we just mentioned, Claroty CTD leverages sophisticated behavioral analysis techniques to provide ongoing, real-time threat detection. This works by discovering and building a model of the entire network and mapping all the communication paths. This process provides a very high-fidelity baseline model that is used to map the network and then show how it works, and it then detects anomalies. So with this information, you gain immediate insights into your ICS network, including important configuration, vulnerability, and network hygiene and configuration issues that may provide an attack vector or could break the process. And importantly, these insights are presented in an understandable, context-rich manner that allows easy operator understanding.
Typically, when our product goes in, and most organizations in the plant or in the operation side, they think they know the majority of their assets, or sometimes they say, oh, we're air-gapped and we know everything, or they might, some just say, oh, we're not sure. Let's take a look. We typically are able to find somewhere between 5 and 25% of assets that were unknown to the network operators before. Usually it's quite the surprise when we give our first review of assets discovered and who's talking to whom. On top of this, our real-time threat detection system then uses the behavior analysis and the behavior analysis to monitor those baseline deviations. And because we build a very detailed model, we're able to spot anomalies and high-risk changes better than anyone, and also earlier in the kill chain. So this makes our ICS detection, threat detection, really in our, of course, our estimation, we think we're quite best out there in the market. So because of the information that we collect and our knowledge of the ICS systems themselves, we're able to give clear, actionable, context-rich alerts for both security and process integrity issues.
Thanks, Catherine. I think the discovery of 25% new assets on a network is quite remarkable, and I believe everyone would be able to understand the value of that, certainly in terms of security, but also in planning and safety. But I'd like to pick up on the process integrity issue. So there's no doubt that security and safety are closely related, and the fact that Claroty will improve both safety and security comes up a lot in our customer conversations. Alongside the anomaly-based detection Claroty CTD provides, it will also detect known threats and other anomalous behavior across the full cyber kill chain. It's important to be able to spot adversary activity early in the kill chain, so you have time to fix the issue before the adversary, and maybe an inadvertent adversary, so your own employee, can carry out any damage. Of course, CTD will also monitor later stage activities, like PLC code changes, as these could indicate malicious activity that was not previously seen. Indeed, it could even show human errors or an insider threat from someone who is indeed authorized to make changes, but behaving in an anomalous way.
Yes, Ian. So this is how we're able to detect things that are unknown. It's not like antivirus. In our minds, most of us, fairly familiar with antivirus has a signature database, and it kind of cross-maps to that as things change on a host system. It's not intrusion detection. We're able to see things that fit a profile or don't fit a profile, and therefore are anomalous enough to alert upon. And this is how we were able to detect the Triton attack or the Triconic safety system. And we worked very closely with Schneider Electric on the actual malware itself, looking at it, analyzing it with them. They worked with a number of folks, of course, in that. There were a lot of groups involved to try to understand what happened when that attack occurred. That'd be a great topic for a future webinar, Ian. And so when we were able to bring our software into their lab using the malware that was seen, we detected it exactly right in their lab without any setup or special anything.
Great, thanks, Catherine. So I think now is a good point to move on to the related to CTD security posture assessment product. Using the capabilities inherent in the CTD platform, Claroty provides security teams with insights into the security risk posture of OT networks by running a comprehensive analysis of a packet capture file, which Catherine mentioned previously, but you can think of in a way as a snapshot over a short period of time of your network traffic. With a detailed analysis of the assets and network communication patterns discovered, and deep insights about weaknesses in OT networks, teams have the information they need to fix hidden issues that may give an attacker a foothold or impact critical processes.
Right. So this is a good report. It is the first step in many standards and security frameworks that you may be familiar with or might not be. That the very first point of advice so often is to know your assets, have an asset inventory. Certainly that's included in the security posture assessment for what portions of traffic we were able to see and observe. And we can automatically identify those assets across the entire network, and this gives you an in-depth picture of it, as well as can be used to help you address regulatory or perhaps internal audit requirements, as those are becoming much more important. It gives a detailed network analysis, how the communication is going, as I described, and visibility as to their paths, all the way down to field I/O, and we're not limited to only IP addressed items. We can also observe and report on things like RS-232 and serial communications. The Comprehensive Vulnerability Insights is another component of the report, and it generates a summary score. And you can kind of see that on this little slide, giving some color coding and giving some description and explanation. This report includes things also that are fairly industry standard, such as known vulnerabilities like CVE matching, which we provide, so that the devices and systems in your network and a list of network hygiene and other configurations can bring up a real actionable set of context for you to identify a potential attack pathway.
Yeah, it's a great way to gain a much better insight into your network, and that's why we offer it as an option with our network audit service to give a much fuller picture of the network security. So you get both the human element and the assessment and value you get from a very experienced security engineer coming around to look at your site, but also get the value of the database and the knowledge within the Claroty platform. There's a lot more we could say about CTD, but we'll save that for future webinars. And we're now going to move on to the topic of remote access, which is an important attack vector that organizations need to mitigate. A lot of our customers talk to us about the challenge of having multiple employees and contractors that need access to the OT network from a remote location. The scenario often looks like this picture, where various individuals have access and there's no way to control who has access to what.
So with Claroty, and if you take a look at how the difference in the two pictures you saw before and after, with our approach, the system, those of you in the operations side, you can proactively manage that remote access. You can get a complete session recording in video format. It allows you to see everything that occurred, whether the person coming in came through a VPN. Once they're authorized and they're roaming around inside your network. And many of these networks are fairly flat still. They mean that, by that I mean, safety systems are on the same network access as things like your batch process server, your data historian, various data and HMI assets, as well as all the way to the I/O. So it's difficult to safeguard those assets when something is an unmanaged sort of remote or perhaps unmonitored remote access. So this way, you all in the operations side can control, you can rely on IT to help you with setting up VPNs and firewall rules. But for yourselves, you can manage which users are granted access to which industrial control assets and for what purposes, and also windows of time. And you can enforce those access guidelines across various of your policies, and you can actually show that you're governing those remote connections and monitoring and recording. You can save those sessions, those video session recordings for reference and keep them for various regulatory needs. So the remote access sessions are very important.
Thanks, Catherine. So as you have heard, the Claroty platform was designed to operate in real-world enterprises who have large, complex networks and multiple plants or sites. The enterprise manager provides a centralized SOC or engineering team with a consolidated roll-up view across multiple plants and locations.
Yes, our enterprise management console is a centralized management interface, and it consolidates, as we described. You can see all these different sites perhaps rolling up into the central view, and you can also drill down into those. You can also see things like assets, activities, and alerts across all the sites, and it makes it very suitable for security operations or SOC, if you have a security operations center or a SOC deployment. It also can give you a view across all the multi-sites of the traffic, assets, the various activities going on. You can filter those, you can analyze those and be proactive. Of course, all of this during your normal day job, I know, but that's part of why we exist, to make it easier for you and save you time and make it far more efficient. And then the final bit is the comprehensive view for your operations team. If you see something anomalous, first of all, how do you know? Second of all, if you do know that something is unusual going on in the system, I could use the Triconics example. Suddenly you have the safety system that shut down. It shut down gracefully. It shut down the process and a lot of what's going on in the factory, but it wasn't, destroyed or anything. It just shut down and unscheduled. What's that all about? Well, the details that you can see from our system will help you call in the resources that you might need and describe those in a detailed manner to help you resolve it faster. And this view can be seen, and the ability to more quickly resolve threats can apply across your entire ICS environment.
Thanks, Catherine. And so I think many people have concerns about adding more tools, and from CTD building up with DMC and then into integration with other things, there are a lot of ways of tuning what Claroty gives you to make sure you get what you want, but you're not overwhelmed. And a SOC or a SIEM, or people using a SIEM in an IT security center, it's already a busy area and function. And many teams will often have to deal with significant complexity and volumes of information. So Claroty's integration into existing tools ensures that the benefits can be gained across the organization without adding complexity.
Yes, thanks, Ian. So all of our customers, we recognize, have an ecosystem of their own. We have integrations with such things as QRadar and Splunk. We have APIs that can be leveraged for various tools that might even be homegrown in your environment. We have, as you can see in this slide, the ability to give the strength and consistency of the visibility across multiple sites, across multiple integrations. And I've actually had people comment that if we couldn't do those integrations, or we weren't good at it, and we couldn't give them this visibility across multiple sites along with the workflow efficiency, that the product just wouldn't be as useful to them. So just think of us as we help you leverage a range of tools that are commonly in use by your Security Operations Center.
Great, thank you, Catherine. So I hope everyone's enjoyed this brief introduction to Claroty and the Claroty product set. Clearly there is a lot more we could say, and we'll explore this fantastic set of solutions in more detail in subsequent webinars. So if you agree that it's important to radically improve your OT network visibility and security, be sure to contact us and request a demonstration. On top of that, there are a series of data sheets and other very useful and very interesting information on our Solutions PT Claroty page. Thank you very much for your time today, Catherine.
Oh, yes. Thank you, everyone. And be sure to hit that page. I'm very impressed with how Solutions PT has represented our solutions. And there are a couple of very good white papers and solution brief information up there. So thank you all.
Okay. Thank you for listening, everyone. Goodbye.